When the glass breaks, we talk Vols on Ramon and Will. Typically Tuesdays at 8:20. Then the Titans went and fired their head coach on Monday, meaning we were wall-to-wall Titans yesterday. And that means on your Wednesday morning commute this week, VolQuest's Austin Price joins us. It is the third week in October, which means we are previewing Tennessee and Alabama. Austin, good morning. How are you, sir?
Guess what day it is, guys?
What day is
What
that?
day is it?
Hump day.
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right, Austin. We appreciate your flexibility and apologize for having to move your time around a second straight week. Where do you begin to evaluate this matchup? Tennessee and Alabama, a really good pass offense against a pass defense ranked in the hundreds for Tennessee. What is the pathway to victory for the Vols on Saturday in Tuscaloosa?
It certainly feels like the path to victory is getting a shootout and winning a shootout. That also would require not shooting yourself in the foot with pre-snap penalties or hands to the face penalties that take a 2nd and 5 and make them a 2nd and 20, and derailing drives by self-inflicted wounds. We say all that to say, who knows? It's sports. I mean, like this game could end up being, 20-17. You just don't know until you get into the arena and kind of see how the game plays out. But based off of what we know to this point, it feels like Tennessee's path to victory would be a high-scoring affair compared to a low-scoring affair.
Austin, it's interesting, too, with this offense. It does feel like the best way to stop them is, like you said, letting them stop themselves. What about Alabama has brought out the best in Josh Heupel teams? I know there's two different coaches that have been on the other sideline, and obviously Nick Saban and now Kalen DeBoer, but it does feel like Tennessee, unlike the Georgia matchup, kind of plays its best ball against Alabama. Do you agree with that? And what do you think brings out the best in Tennessee in this game?
I think Josh Heupel loves big games. I think he loves the challenge. I think deep down, he loves the thought of being the first Tennessee coach to win in Tuscaloosa or in the Swamp in November, potentially, since Philip Fulmer did so in 2003. And I think he likes challenges. So I think every year, the third Saturday in October, the ability to smoke a cigar at the end of the game for the winning team, all those traditions bring out the best in him. I think he gets really fired up for these type games. I think also Tennessee's offense has matched up better with Alabama on defensively than they have matched up with Georgia. I think Georgia's defensive depth has been better than Alabama the last 5-6 years, and it's shown through when Tennessee's offense has been able to have a lot of success against them at different periods of time, even getting back to 2021 where Tennessee was never super in the game, but at the same time, it wasn't your typical bludgeoning from the Crimson Tide. And then, of course, Tennessee won the last two home games and led in Tuscaloosa 2 years ago at the half.
No doubt about it. We're talking about Austin Price of VolQuest's and On 3. Austin, there's a lot of conversation usually about this matchup, this game, and some say it's not a rivalry. Austin, is this a rivalry for Tennessee and Alabama?
Who says this is not a rivalry?
You just hear some that disparage, well, you guys, we beat you 15 straight. Yeah.
Middle Tennessee Bama fans that went to Lipscomb. All right, sorry, I'm done.
Yeah. But how do you view this?
Yeah, that's asinine. I mean, when Nick Saban, who most people consider to be the greatest college coach of all time, says that for Alabama fans, the Tennessee game is bigger than the Auburn game, that tells you all you need to know. So it's absolutely a rivalry. I mean, Nick Saban got the better of Tennessee for 15 years. Just like before that, Philip Fulmer had dominated the Crimson Tide for the better part of a decade. So this has been a series of runs, and Tennessee's looking to win their first back-to-back games against Alabama since 2003, 2004. If they could find a way to win down there, it'd be the first time since 2003, and they'd have won 3 of the last 4 against Alabama, which is a nice little potential run for the Vols. So can they flip everything back? I think they've at least neutralized the run from Alabama and their ability to hold serve at home. Now the big next step would be the ability to go win on the road. Can this team do that? I don't know. We sat here on Wednesday, and I will be the first to say I think Alabama's good. I don't think Alabama's great. So can Tennessee cobble together enough stops on defense, enough bend but don't breaks where you force Alabama to kick field goals in this football game? I think they can, but I think it's going to take a Herculean effort from the front seven. I think the linebackers have got to play dramatically better, and I think Tennessee's ability to get home to Ty Simpson is going to be paramount to have success in this game. But, yeah, absolutely it's a rivalry. Anybody that says it's not is just asinine and living in the last 10 years. So if you're saying it's not a rivalry, you're a young kid who has no clue. Like, go back and learn history. Like, again, I've not heard that. Maybe you guys have. I was kind of floored when you said that. This is one of the great rivalries in all of SEC.
I'm glad you mentioned that about the back and forth that the Vols could have. Also, I have this theory. When this offense is good, the defense just isn't going to be great. I love if to your point, if the run defense stepped up, I think you say offensive defense is probably top 5 in the country when it comes down to their ability to be that good. With that being said, Austin, I feel like the best defense against Alabama is the offense that Josh Heupel poses to it. Meaning, Joey Aguilar, I feel like in this game, is a better quarterback than Ty Simpson. I know Ty Simpson's a Heisman favorite at this point. But how do you view those two guys and what's asked of them when they play this matchup? Because that offense puts pressure on opposing teams to perform too.
Yeah, let me get on my soapbox. Anybody talking Heisman Trophy the middle of October is just silly to me. But it's the world we live in. I mean, at On 3, we do every week. There's 6 different guys that give their playoff predictions and projections and Heisman Trophy projections because people click on it, and it drives traffic, and it's a good talker. But at the end of the day, this thing is still right. I mean, maybe we're getting right here to intermission, but it certainly feels like we got a whole other act to go in the college football season with a 1,000 more twists and turns. So, where we're at come October 15th, 16th, 17th, and where we're at December 1 is going to be 2 totally different things, in my opinion. So I think for Joey Aguilar, he's just got to continue to play confidently, find open receivers. He finally did have just probably the worst throw he's had of the season, and that luckily that the kid trapped it and wasn't able to pick it off Saturday when he got flushed, and he was trying to throw it away and didn't even see the guy stand there, and he almost threw that pick. But can't do that Saturday. He's got to play within himself, but also be able to hit some big plays. That's what they did in 21 down there. They were able to hit big plays to Cedric Tillman and Javonte Payton. I think that's paramount Saturday. They've got to find ways to hit Chris Brazel, get him going again. Only 1 catch, 5 yards last week. Ty's obviously playing really good football and seeing it well. He's only thrown the 1 pick on the season. Alabama's traditionally not ran it too well with this team, but they're capable. Mm-hmm. They're capable, and Tennessee's obviously been susceptible to giving up yards on the ground, at least for different stretches. If you look at Tennessee statistically, defensively, they look like they should be better than what they actually have played. So the question is can they clean up a few things and become better on the defensive side of the ball? I don't know, maybe. I mean, it's easy to say they are who they are, 6 games in, but I do feel like that there's the possibility that they could clean up a few things and be a better unit. Are they going to be what they were a year ago? It certainly does not feel like it. Losses up front, losses in the back end. I think that's hurting this team. But could they clean a few things up and be better? I think potentially. So I think, which defense can, again, find ways to get off the field, find ways to get stops, because that's been Tennessee's one bugaboo, is the inability to get off the field on 3rd and 4th down, which helps the opposing quarterback.
Austin Price of VolQuest's On 3, our guest. Austin, this team's inability to play consistent zone defense is baffling to me. And I remember when Boo Carter was kind of coming into his role last year as a true freshman, a lot of the conversation was he'll make some big plays, he'll also give up some big plays. It feels like that balance has tipped more into giving up big plays this season than making big ones. How do you explain and how do you think this coaching staff is trying to fix Tennessee's zone defense issues? And is this a game where you feel like maybe they can try to play more man because there isn't as much of a threat of the quarterback run game with Ty Simpson as there was with Taylon Green?
Yeah, I think potentially, obviously, Taylon Green could take like the third down where Tennessee blitzed, he just spun out of it and ran for 30 yards. Like, Ty is a very capable runner.
Right.
At the end of the day, though, Ty wants to stay in the pocket and throw the football. I mean, he, again, down near the goal line, I think that's where you really can watch Ty Simpson do some work on the ground, because when the field shrinks and the throwing lanes aren't as big, the ability to make a play with his feet is something Ty's really good at. I think Tennessee's got to be really disciplined. They really have to be disciplined. The eye discipline's got to be really, really good. This is a defense that I think the linebackers have got to play better than they've played. I think Arion Carter's been really good, but outside of that, it's been, it's been suspect at times. So this is this is a defense that's got to step up, because Ty Simpson can do some different things. Now, maybe he's not Taylon Green, but he's still very, very capable. I think it's a better version than Gunnar Stockton, right? I think Ty's a little bit better athlete than Gunnar Stockton. Ty's throwing it well. Again, goes back to Josh Josephs, Caleb Herring, Jordan Ross. Tennessee's ability to put pressure on number 15 probably is going to be the deciding factor on whether Tennessee's in this game with a chance to win it in the fourth quarter.
Austin, where is Tennessee at health-wise? Starting with Deshaun Bishop, I know that it looked pretty bad in the moment on Saturday. What is his status? And if you could just run through kind of where Tennessee is with some of these guys with question marks. Where is Tennessee at health-wise going into this game?
About where they were last week. David Hobbs is good. And then all indications are that Deshaun Bishop will be able to go in this game, and if he's healthy to go, then again that helps the running back room, because he, from a patient standpoint, is seeing running lanes way better than everybody else, and they need Star Thomas to get some patience about his game and kind of slow down a little bit and wait on things, and if he becomes a more patient runner, I think you get back to seeing him be the potential big play threat we saw him be early in the season. But right now, it's kind of Deshaun Bishop, and Peyton Lewis is starting to see it a little better. So that's really the two injuries, is Hobbs and Bishop. Travis Smith, I don't believe, but will be back for this game. Or Darius Jackson won't be back for this game. So the receiver position remains super thin, and they've got to be a group that stays healthy in a game like this. But other than that, about where they were a week ago.
When you look at the calls this past weekend, Austin, from the referees, it was 1 to 10. Who is Josh Heupel ticked off, and what does he have to do to get those calls? I know they get graded afterwards, I think, in the college ranks, but I know for a fact 2 of those offsides was on Arkansas's defense, and they just didn't call it. They don't call any holding around the line of scrimmage on the D-line. Heupel and the PR with Tennessee, they have to be loud about it this upcoming week with the discrepancies on how penalties are called and not called against them. Is that something you see him trying to do the way Saban did it, or the way Kirby does it when he's clapping a timeout? Like, there has to be something there for Heupel to win when it comes to the referees.
Yeah, I think certainly he pleads his case to them in person. I don't think he plays it out in the media. I don't think that's his style.
Okay.
You go back to the Georgia game a year ago, and Adam Sparks asked him the questions about the officiating, and he just turned the microphone back on Adam and wanted Adam to answer it. Because, that's just more kind of his way of getting his point across. And, there is an officiating problem in this league. It's really bad. I mean, we all saw Kirby calling timeout. And then, of course, the Georgia propaganda machine, they start look at the safety. They put the videos out. He's clapping. Okay, I agree with that. But he still called timeout. Yeah. Like a clap and a timeout signal are not the same thing. Like both things can be accurate. The Auburn safeties can be mimicking something to cause a flinch, and Kirby can be calling timeout. Much like, Oklahoma used and did their thing, which skirted the rules. Missouri, same thing at one point this year. Tennessee getting a 10-1 whistle against them at home. It's a bit strange. I watched Missouri defensive linemen get tackled. I watched Tennessee edges get tackled last week by tackles as they tried to rush the quarterback, and no holding was called. And that was that way a year ago. I mean, James Pierce, how many times did he get just drugged down to the ground last year, and they didn't call it? But then they'll call the most ticky-tack things at times. And so the officiating problem in this league is drastic. And it's not a new occurrence. This has been going on for a while. And going on the road and getting a good whistle is very rare. Obviously, Arkansas got one last week here. But, yeah, I just don't think that's Josh's style to do it in the media. I think he'll say something to him pregame. I'd say it'll fall on deaf ears, and I'd say Tennessee will be struggling to get a good whistle in Tuscaloosa, which is why they have to be even better than if they were better than they were a week ago, they've got to take that and double it to be somewhat adequate, from a flag standpoint in this game.
He is Austin Price of VolQuest's on 3, normally at 8:20 on Tuesdays, joining us a day late this week because of the Titans news on Monday. Tennessee, Alabama, of course, here on the station, courtesy of the Vol Network. Great stuff, Austin. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks, you.
Austin.
Yes, sir. Talk with Austin again next week at the normal time.
Vols got another opposing player talking trash about the defense.
Do they?
Alabama's wide receiver, Jeremy Bernard.
We will talk about that coming up next.